Last time I was here, we barely left the bedroom.
Obviously, I haven't made the bed.
And who's into sex as much as I am. Healthy relationship, you both gotta be, on the same game plan.
You're comfortable, bed?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty comfortable, isn't it?
John,
You know what I find quite interesting about John's relationship, though, with Meghan? John came in and said, obviously, he's met a new woman, and he really wants things to go far. The thing that kind of really surprised me is that the first thing he says in this episode is that their relationship has been built on intimacy the whole time. They've barely even spent time together properly. And I do find it interesting because how can you tell yourself that, hey, I think I found someone who's for me, but you don't really actually know that person properly? I find that quite fascinating, to be honest with you. But let's get into it, though, because Meghan says something very interesting here that I definitely have to question, if anything. So, yeah, let's listen.
Comfortable, isn't it?
John, I never slid into anyone's DMs. Like, that's just not the kind of person I am. But I was like, that man, he's adorable. I need to talk to him.
I'm finding it very suspicious why she says that she's never slid into anyone's DMs, which is line number one. But, she slid into John's DMs and she's saying it's the first time it's ever happened. And I do wonder why. I mean, is it because she saw him in a TV show and she was like, oh, let's slide these DMs, maybe I can go on TV too? Or is it maybe because she's been set up with him? Because, hey, this is 90 Day Fiance, right? I wouldn't be surprised. But either way, though, I just have to question that whole conversation about the fact that she slid into his DMs, because I do find that rather, rather interesting. But nonetheless, though, I won't make too much of a big deal out of it. Just wanted to point it out because I really want to get your opinion on it. What do you think was the intention behind the whole her slide into his DMs? But anyway, we continue because it's about to get interesting.
So I know that, like, when we first started talking, marriage wasn't like a necessary thing. But, sometimes your mindset changes.
I'll know when it's right.
Let's do this naturally. I think you'd live with someone before you get married.
I did find that quite interesting, though. The girl was like, boom, marriage. I mean, listen, to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with the conversation about marriage. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't matter when you have it. You can have it whenever you like, and there's nothing wrong with it. But it is quite fascinating, though, the way she's like, well, don't keep me waiting. But listen, when a woman knows what she wants, I guess she knows what she wants, right? But hey, let's continue. Let's get into this whole living situation.
I was just hoping that in 6 months that we would, be living together, but 6 months from when we, started talking.
So from the moment that they started talking, she was hoping within 6 months they'd be living together. Now listen, I don't see anything wrong with that. If it works for you, it works for you. But the only issue is that you both have to be on that same page. If you're not on the same page, well, then that's where it becomes a challenge, doesn't it now? But let's get into it.
I'm not here to just wait around forever, Really important that the longer distance relationship between me and John ends soon, because I don't think we have a real shot unless we actually do live together.
I mean, listen, there is truth to what she says. It's a bit like Veronica and Jamal. There is truth to what she says, 100%. And if anything, to be fair, I probably side more of her than obviously I do with him. Because I feel like if you've been doing a long distance relationship now for what, 5-6 months, you definitely need to get to that stage now where it needs to become closer, and then you can actually really know how can you put up with each other if you actually get together on a long period of time. You know what I mean? Whether that be him staying there for a month or whether that's him actually generally moving in, doesn't matter. I respect the plan. It makes a lot of sense. But let's be real though, John isn't exactly in a position where he can say no, because he definitely needs a home, because we know that he's currently sleeping with his brothers. So to be fair with you, at this point, John has no reason to say no, to be honest with you. But John is just John.
Been together 5 months, but we probably spent 5 nights together. All right, so obviously 6 months is not happening.
Is to be in a relationship, settle down. It's just I also don't want to rush it because I want to make sure it's right. I want to be with Meghan, but I got engaged pretty quick before, and I just don't want to get hurt and make the same mistake again.
I mean, listen, with all due respect, I completely get what you're saying. Nobody likes to make the same mistake again. But at the same time, should we ever treat someone new based on something that's happened to us in the past? I mean, obviously that can be very subjective, but my answer is always going to be no. I don't believe it's fair to treat people the same as what somebody else may have before. But of course, if you're with somebody that gives you triggers that is similar and this person has certain tendencies that somebody else had beforehand, then fair enough, you can judge it. But if you're in a position to then judge that person, well, then maybe you shouldn't be with that person, especially if they're giving you too many similarities to somebody in the past that, that it didn't work out. And most importantly, if they give you vibes of someone in the past that that wasn't good for you neither, then maybe you need to bounce and go elsewhere, because really and truly the idea of being in a new relationship is hopefully with somebody that doesn't trigger those new things. But even if they do trigger them, they can trigger them in a way where maybe you understand that they don't actually do it from a malicious place. They're doing it from just a different type of place. You see what I'm saying? But that all comes down from getting to know that person and learning that person. If you're not doing that, then obviously you're not going to get to that. And that's how you're always going to be stuck in this run of always projecting things from the past, and projecting something from the past to someone who's maybe actually better than the past and someone that's actually generally a good person. That is not nice, because therefore you ruin your own shiz. And there's only one person to blame in that situation, and that person can only be who? You. So those things obviously have to be taken into serious consideration. But hey, man, listen, at the end of the day, it is down to John, obviously, how he wants to go about things, how he wants to conduct things, you know. But I think in this situation, if they've been dating now for 5 months, 6 months, and she's in the position where she's ready to want to try things on a more serious level in terms of living together, then I feel like he should jump at the opportunity. And most importantly, because he has nothing to lose, because he hasn't got a home or nothing like that. It's not like he's got to sell his house or anything like that, you know what I mean? Even if he was renting that even wouldn't be a thing holding him back. So if it works, it works. But at the same time, though, if there's a reason, if there is maybe a reason for him to say no, maybe the reason is because maybe he's not in a good financial position. So maybe that could be why. Maybe he's like, nah, because he knows he can't afford. If that's the case, well, then that's a conversation that he needs to have with her, and needs to obviously be open with her about it, because we don't really know his working situation. The last time we did know about it, he was working obviously for Patrick at his time, at the time. Obviously, him and Patrick are no longer in the same state anymore, because obviously Patrick's in in Las Vegas, I believe, and he's now in a different place. But there's always fundamentals to it, but I do feel like if he's saying no, it's probably because he's hiding something. But hey, I could be wrong. You guys let me know exactly what you're thinking down below, and we can mostly talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.